Well, today we need to have a serious discussion about the Chinese stocks. These stocks have been in absolute disaster mode and it seems to just be getting worse. And so we got to ask ourselves, is this the end? Are things going to get better from here? Is this a buying opportunity of a lifetime for Chinese stocks? Or is this going to just keep getting worse and worse, okay? I want to go through 5 different points with you here today that will kind of discuss into detail about these Chinese stocks and kind of my viewpoints on this. As you know, I'm an Alibaba shareholder, okay? That's the only Chinese stock I hold as of right now. And so after we get done answering these 5 questions, I'm going to share with you my views on Alibaba, if they have changed, if that's a stock I plan on selling and have already sold, or maybe we'll buy more or anything like that, or maybe not even just touching it right now, okay? So we'll discuss all this. So the first question of the 5 we got to ask ourselves is, are they still really crashing? Well, let's go ahead and look at some stock prices here today. What we will see here is that so many of the big Chinese names are down massively again today, okay? We got Baba down another 3.6% today. We have Tencent down over 2% today. By the way, those are the 2 big Chinese stocks, all right, out there, the biggest of the bigs. We have Baidu down 1% today. We have JD, which has just been absolutely destroyed, like 40-50% over the past few months, down another 5+% today. We got Vips Shop down over 3.5% today. We have IQ down over 6% today. And then the new hot stock on the block, NEO, is down over 14% today, guys. So obviously by looking at that, yes, the crash is still going on with Chinese stocks. It has not ended. These have absolutely gotten nailed. And keep in mind, these stocks, many of these stocks I just mentioned are down 30+% in the past 3 to 4 months, okay? Have had an absolute disastrous last 3 to 4 months. Many of these stocks down 30+%, okay? Some of them down 40-50%. If we go into some of the smaller Chinese stocks, a lot of them are down over 50%, okay? So it's been an absolute disaster. So if you're asking yourself, are they still really crashing? Absolutely. These stocks have been absolutely nailed and they have continued to get nailed over and over and over again, okay? So yes, absolutely without question, it's still going on, all right? Now, are they crashing for one of 2 reasons, okay? Usually stocks go down, usually a sector goes down, or stocks in general, because of 2 reasons. One could be because of fundamentals, all right? The fundamentals of that company have gotten worse, or the fundamentals of all the companies have gotten massively worse. Or is it a valuation concern where maybe stocks get too overpriced, right? And they need to just come down to a lower number, all right? So let's discuss both of these. Is it fundamentals? Are these stocks going down based upon the fundamentals of their companies changing for the worse? And the answer to me, at least in my respect, is no, absolutely not. Many of these stocks still have phenomenal growth, have still reported phenomenal earnings the last time they reported earnings, and yet their stocks a lot of them are down 30+% over the last 3 to 6 months. The fundamentals of Alibaba and Tencent and so many of these companies have not really changed much, okay? Over the past, let's say 3 to 6 months. A lot of them are still have just as strong growth as they had before. A lot of them are doing great things. A lot of them are building out their businesses. So you can't really say these stocks are going down because of fundamentals. It's just not factual, okay? So the other question is, are they going down based upon valuation? Are these stocks going down based upon valuation? Maybe some of them got too high. The answer is yes and no. In some of these stocks' respect, it could be valuation, all right? Some of them maybe just did get overpriced and need to have a correction. However, a lot of the Chinese stocks are actually massively undervalued if you compare them against their American peers, especially if you compare off a PE ratio, a revenue ratio, a price to sales ratio. A ton of the Chinese stocks are actually way undervalued compared to a lot of American counterpart companies, okay? So you can't really say it's really valuation. So it's like, okay, if it's not valuation and it's not really fundamentals, then why are these stocks trading down? And it's 100% based on fear right now and the fact that people feel like these stocks are going to get worse and worse and worse, okay? The fact that people feel like they're scared for the Chinese economy. And why is this? That gets into point number 3, and that is the tariff situation, okay? The tariff situation just in the past 24 hours has gotten worse, all right? And what else got worse? The stock prices of the Chinese companies, all right? Trump came out and said he's about to get new tariffs out there. He's looking into more and more things. The Chinese, his president says he's going to fight back by any means necessary. He's going to do what it takes for the Chinese economy to succeed. So we have an ugly tariff situation, okay? This started about 6 months ago, and it's getting worse and worse. You just have both sides battling it out, and it just creates a lot of fear out there. And the fear ends up breeding into the stock market for pretty much most stocks out there, not just Chinese companies, but a lot of the Chinese companies. You have a double bad situation here. here. You have the Chinese president who's used to pretty much getting his way, who all of a sudden now is like in a situation where he's like, I'm not getting my way, what do I do, okay? And some people look at it the way he's viewing it, as he's trying to get his way, and they say, man, this Chinese president, he's just on a kamikaze mission, okay? He's on a kamikaze mission, he just has to win this, and if he doesn't win this, he could jeopardize his entire economy over there. And you have the United States, who's really in a position of power because the United States buys so much more from China than China buys from the United States, okay? Go into China and try to find a made in USA product, okay? It's going to be very hard to find. Good luck trying to find something like that. However, come to the United States and go to your local Walmart and you'll see practically every other thing there says made in China on it, okay? So the United States is definitely in a position of power, but you have the Chinese president and China, the government over there, who's kind of viewing this and they're like, wait a minute, we get our way with everything, all of a sudden we're not going to get our way. What do we do in this situation? So it creates a really ugly situation that China doesn't want to back down and the United States doesn't want to back down because they're really in a position of power. So it's a bad situation, and it's just kind of an ugly situation right now, guys. So the tariff situation is not cleared up. From right now, it might be getting worse, and it's probably not going to clear up anytime soon. That's the issue, guys. The question is, when will it end? Okay, that gets into point number 4. When will this end? When will the Chinese stocks start bouncing back? When will this tariff situation end? And the answer is no one knows. No one knows when this will end, okay? This could go for many more months. This could maybe end in a few months. This could go for another year. This could maybe end in a year, okay? This could go for the rest of Trump's presidency. And imagine if Trump gets reelected and it's still a battle, you know, for another 4 years past that. We could be looking at 6 years plus until maybe there's a truce here, or maybe there's not, okay? This is just a flat out war going on, and it is really kind of branching out into a trade war at this point, okay? And the answer is honestly, no one knows when this is going to end. No one knows. We can guess, but that is 100% what it is. If you have a prediction, oh, this is going to end next month, oh, this is going to end in 6 months, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, if you were trying to guess at that, that's all it is. It's a guess. There's no way you can possibly predict when President Xi and President Trump are going to say, okay, let's just come to a truce here, because we have not seen it yet, okay? So the answer is, we don't know when this is going to end, okay? And that's a hard thing to understand when you are a holder of stocks in general, and especially Chinese stocks. It definitely is scary when you say, man, I don't know when the heck this is going to end. Where's the bottom at in this situation, okay? So there's one big question you have to ask yourself, okay? And after we get done with this, I'll go into my opinion on one of my holdings, Alibaba, and kind of my views there. The one big question you have to ask yourself right now is, are you bullish on the Chinese economy over the next decade? If you are bullish on the Chinese economy over the next decade, I'm telling you there are a lot of good values out there in the Chinese stock world right now, okay? There's still some companies that you can make an argument that are maybe overvalued or a little scary and whatnot, but there are a lot of Chinese stocks that are really good values if you are bullish on the Chinese economy over the next decade. However, if you are bearish on the Chinese economy, you don't believe in their economy over there, you think it's just going to crumble, you think these tariffs are going to massively hurt their economy, they're going to kind of go into a lost decade. If you feel like that and you are bearish on Chinese stocks and the Chinese economy as a whole, then you know, it's not even worth touching any of these stocks. If you have that type of mindset, it's not worth it. Why would you want to get involved with it? If their economy is going to go into a lost decade, it's just not worth touching any of the stocks, okay? So it really comes to your frame of mind. Are you bullish on the economy in China for the next decade, or are you bearish? If you don't really have an opinion either way, then even then it's probably makes sense to not touch Chinese stocks in general, all right? Now, in terms of my Alibaba position, you guys have known, starting about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago or so, I started buying Alibaba shares, okay? And I have said I plan to continue to buy Alibaba throughout 2018, especially if it drops more. I still stick with that. I do plan on that. The problem is I'm buying a lot of stocks, okay? So there's only so much money to go around. I'm also buying Facebook stock aggressively right now. I think it's a ridiculous value when you're looking at it from a long-term perspective. Skyworks Solutions, Cirrus Logic, I'm going to start buying once again. So those are 3 other companies that I'm all want to actively buy over the coming months. That creates a situation where there's only so much money to go around. So when I look at Alibaba shares, I say that's definitely a stock that is very attractive to me. As far as my view on the Chinese economy, I think it will be fine over the next decade. decade. Could they have a recession? Yes, they could have a recession, but it is still a massive economy that is growing, okay? Is it growing as strong as it once was? No, but it is still growing very strong. So when I look at it from that perspective, I look at all the things Alibaba is doing, all the unbelievable businesses they're building out, I look at that business, I say, even if the Chinese economy is just okay for the next decade, let's say it doesn't grow like crazy, let's say the Chinese economy is just okay. Even if the Chinese economy is just okay, Alibaba should still massively grow, okay? This company should have unbelievable numbers over the next decade and should become a very, very profitable company. So when I look at it in that context, I say, you know what, it makes more sense to buy Alibaba shares if they continue to fall. My only issue is there's only so much money to go around, and there are other stocks I also want to actively buy, and there are also other call options I'm looking at for 2021 in some stocks out there. So for that reason, I am continuing to buy Alibaba, for probably the remainder of 2018, but there's only so much money that's going to go in there because there are other deals out there as well of stocks I absolutely love. So that's my view on the Chinese economy, Chinese stocks. I want to hear your view on Alibaba, Tencent, JD, NIO, any of these stocks out there you want to talk about. I want to hear your opinion. Are you bullish or bearish on the Chinese economy? Who's going to win this trade war? I want to hear from you guys down there in that comment section. If you love to keep up with stock market news, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.